So many of you, we were able to meet in person, which is always like the highlight of the event, to meet many of you in person, to connect and to, if we already met, just to recap and catch up the things that you're working on. That's always our highlight. And then we also have a lot of new information on the market and the way people are looking at deals, mostly to stay within the industry, because if you're real estate investor or a sponsor, maybe you're a provider for the industry, you know that things are changing continuously. And so for us, it's a way to continuously stay in touch with the community and with those of other people that are doing deals. So it's always a an amazing time. That's just another plus. I guess there's a lot of pluses. So, and we got to, we got to stay for an extended time for a mastermind. And this mastermind was not only about business, but it also included some like family, wealth building. Elena was there, and all the speakers were amazing. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, because you were just invited here and you're like, I thought I was gonna be talking about, or answering questions about real estate, or even sharing about the deal that we have under contract, you are in the right room. I'm just trying to give you a bit of I guess, background from what we've been experiencing. So we've been in Florida for the past week now, and most people, when we talked about we're traveling to Florida, they think it's a vacation, and although we balance things out, we try to enjoy. The reality is that this is long hours that we pull, right? Hours, like we start early in the morning, we go and attend morning events, networking, breakfast sometimes, meet some partners that are here. So our days start like 5:30 in the morning, like and going to the event, before it opens, and then either hosting dinners, hosting networking opportunities, and our days just are continuously, not to mention the whole event during the day, which is packed with just being continuously talking. So it can be pretty exhausting. So if you send me a question, or if you like, if I made you and you're like, I'm ready to invest and I have not replied to you, I appreciate your patience. Um, I want you to know that we are not ignoring you. It's just that we actually we were just and I know Chris is listening. He'll be here in the room, but we just finished doing the it used to be, if you haven't yet, I highly encourage you to go and 10x Studios .com, I think it is, or just Google, or go into YouTube channel and Google, I mean, search for The Real Estate King. So we are part of the second season, and we just literally like finished and came to the hotel so that we can have this meeting. So we are like fully loaded with like being in an environment that continues to stretch the way we think, that expands the way that we create opportunities for others, for investors, for partners. And it's like we saw some deals being pitched this today all day, all the way from I'm looking for an investor for I think the lowest was maybe like seven, no, 500. One of them was $25,000. I need $25,000. Anyway, I'm not going to give you all of the details, obviously, because it's still not out there. But I will say, if you haven't yet watched the Real Estate King series, which is season number one, go ahead and watch it, because then you're going to be binging by the time ours is released. So I'm excited to share that. definitely again putting ourselves in rooms that continues to expand or ways of doing business, of looking for collaboration with others, and again just getting to meet so many of you. Like I'm in the cloud. Like when you do something so exciting that you're like, I can't even fall asleep. That's the way I am, because like every day is like, well, let me see who I'm gonna meet, who I'm going to take a picture with, what kind of questions are going to come up. Every day is like a Christmas day. It's a full day, full surprise, a day full of surprise. See, I can't even formulate my thoughts. So, but so anyway, so we wanted to, if you are there, if you weren't at the events, at any of the events, because we finished, yeah, I told you about the mastermind. If you were at any of the events and you want to either raise your hand and we can pull you into the panelist room and you can share your takeaway, or just put it in the chat. Let me make sure the chat it's available and open for you guys. Let's see. Gotcha. I got you. Yeah, yeah, awesome. Yeah, I see a hand up, and because I already know what my takeaways are. I'd rather listen to those of you that want to share yours, because I think that was amazing. So, I'm gonna bring you into the room, Kirby. I know you raised your hand, and then also while you're coming into the room, because we met so many of you and you wanted to know more about our deal that we have under contract. We'll make some time to share about that deal, which we are super excited. And again, the more that we are moving into passing the due diligence, that getting more into discovery, we're falling in love with the deal even more. So, all right, hey Kirby, you should be able. Let's see. So thank you so much for sharing because you didn't make it. Okay, well, oh my God, we miss you so much, Candida. We miss you. So yeah, definitely. Are you having trouble with your? I think I can hear something.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yay! I don't see you yet, but you can share
I don't know
away.
what's going on with my video, but it is what it is. I can't help it.
Oh my
So,
goodness,
it
you're.
was all I want to say is I had a great weekend at the Cardone event. I didn't go to the real estate session. Met some wonderful people. Jason, Chris, and Maricela, I think is how it's pronounced.
Yeah.
Good people. Excited about what we're doing, and it's going to be honest. I'm going to crawl, walk, run, and test the waters and see how it goes. I've never done this, so.
That's awesome.
And I
Yeah.
never got to thank you for dinner the other night, and I that was greatly appreciated.
No, it was great. It was awesome. Yeah, that's right. We did get together and broke bread with many of you. So thank you so much for joining us. No, that's awesome. And again, we if it wasn't because this kind of events, we should just never met. Like you're in Colorado, right? Is that where you live?
Yes,
Right? And so again, this is the kind of events that we put ourselves out there so that we can meet many of you. And Grant always tells us, like, because most people want to share. Well, when I met Grant, and then we just talk about the or side, like I met you, like I put myself in that room and I met you, and he's like, no, when I found you, because he's like putting all of these events together so that we can find each other. And that's another definition that it takes the effort from both ends. Like you obviously left your family. You are, I know you say you're relocating. You're right. You're
yes,
so maybe now you can make it to more events now that you're gonna be living in Florida. But it's obvious that it takes efforts from both sides. So thank you for being there and for joining us that night for dinner. All right,
yes.
Chris is here, and we're looking forward to do more. You did not stay for the real estate. Oh my gosh, we definitely need to. We have a lot of content that we share, so a lot of that was covered, but there was all that we share here. A lot of the what's new. So hang out here, and we will definitely get ready for notes. Let me
Thank you.
see. Yeah, Chris, you're raising your hand. Are you ready to come in to the panelist lab? I'm gonna put you in the panelist. Um, so there's another questions. I think I need to open. Oh, is this video option? Yeah, yeah. I think she's giving us directions. So okay, awesome. So let me see. All right. While I wait for Chris, what I will share, what I will some of the again some of the information that we received is repetition. I mean, we've been to every single, well, Chris has been to every single of these events. I missed one. I don't remember why. Maybe I was working at the hospital. I can't remember why, but I missed one. But so far we're not, we just keep coming back because of the same reason, that because we share. I mean, we learn so much. Um, and every time that we attend, it also solidifies what we know, and it challenged us to open up the way we think, and in different ways. So and again, I'm not gonna bore you with the numbers, but many of the things. Okay, Chris, you're here. You're ready to share? You're muted. Sorry, you're muted.
Absolutely, and I just want to make sure everybody knows. Though you can chat to the hosts. This way, we can keep questions and comments streamlined a little bit. And although we know what we took away from it, what Maricel was trying to say was we want to hear what you took away from it, right? Because each time that we go, we're at a different level in our lives. We're at a different level and experience level within the business itself. And little nuances of how something is stated can have impact depending on where you're at in the experience or in your experience in the real estate. And somebody who hears it one way, there could be 3, 4, 5, 7 layers deep, different ways to take the same information. We've seen it time and time again. It's like, man, nobody, there's only a handful of people who caught what he said there potentially. And I'm not saying that it's just literally just about being within the system and hearing things multiple times that all of a sudden you catch this piece that gets said. And I know that, as Maricela mentioned, I've probably been to 20 of these. And absolutely, Jason, it gets better every time you go. And people ask me, they're like, why would you go to this thing 20 times? It's the same information over and over. The people are different. The room is different. There's so many more opportunities, and the market is different. So you hear things also. And what I'll tell you is both of these events, the business summit and the real estate summit, were very different in the last 6 months, very different from each other, right? So it still makes sense to go to these. They're fairly low ticket items, low ticket things. We're not trying to sell you tickets. We're not trying to sell you the process, whatever. But what I can say is things change in the market, and so you're right there. You're getting firsthand information from a billionaire, as opposed to your mother, your aunt, your cousin, who's going, oh, you shouldn't take on more debt, right? Oh, that's terrible. Oh, that's horrible. Like, who would want that, right? So anyways, that's a quick little takeaway there. The biggest one of the things that I remember hearing, here we go, it's on the other page, is that
Chris, do you mind if we start with just the beginning very quick, because many
sure.
of you, what I'm looking, sorry, and while you maybe get your thought together, but what many of you maybe have been there a couple times, and there's this is the first part. This is the one of the first thing the grant asks us to do, and feel free to take a picture of this. I'm not like, like, obviously I'm not like I'm inviting you to take that, and I'm going to read it for those of you that might be driving. But this is a assessment that he asked us to do. He starts the summit with this assessment, and I encourage you to do it, especially if you attended some of these events. And again, we are not promoting these events. All we're saying, we're sharing how this has we've taken this assessment at least again 19 times, and but I'm not going to tell you my results just yet because I want to hear what yours looks like. And so this is a survey that you simply give yourself a number between 1 to 10, 1 being 0 or the less of the value, 10 being like I'm all there, I'm prepared, and I will tell you the questions next, okay? But just think about it. You're gonna keep track. There's it 2, 4, 6, 8. There's 10 questions. The 10 questions to this survey. And again, if you're driving, you can listen to this later on. We are gonna be sharing this. We should be able to share these recordings. But these are the 10 questions that he always asks us. So the number one, and again, you're grading yourself, okay? So I know where to find great deals. Again, scales are 1 to 10. So you're gonna grade yourself right now, where you are right now, whether you're doing it together, I mean, as by yourself or with a team. I know, or we know where to find great deals and grade yourself, okay? I know how to underwrite a deal. Again, you're grading yourself on these questions, 1 to 10. I know how to get debt or lending for a deal. Again, if you know it and you know exactly, and you have direct contacts, it's a 10. If you're like, I don't know, maybe I go to my bank, you don't know for sure, then just rate yourself accordingly, okay? The next one is I know how to raise equity, how to raise um, money, pretty much, for my deals. Again, if you've done it and you're like, I'm crushing it, yeah, it's a 10, or you grade yourself, okay? Next one is I know how to get a deal under contract, okay? Next one is I know how to get my deal closed. All right. And maybe you close one or two, and maybe you're like, okay, I've done it. I get it. Maybe you're closing single families and you're like, well, I don't know, maybe I don't know about multifamily. So grade yourself on the things that you want to do. Okay. All right. I have network of investors. I have a network of investors or potential investors, 1 to 10. Okay. I have legal and accounting, and I would say include all other professionals. Like, do you have a team that you say, if I have a deal today, I'm gonna get this person and email this person. Like, do you have that Rolodex or that list of providers? Okay. And then the next one is I know my deal size or the criteria, the acquisition criteria we always talk about. I know my deal criteria, size, cap rate, market, business plan. If you're so like sure of that, then just you're a 10. If you're hitting all of those and you are getting a deal flow, then you're at 10. And then the last one is I know the sequence to close a deal. All right. So you don't have to, maybe you can put it in the chat. Put it in the chat how many points did you get? And the potential total is 100% or 100 points. So in the scales 1 to 20, you are very uncertain. You have no idea what you're doing. You don't even know why you're here. Like that's like, let's get together, grab a coffee, and talk for about 8 hours to just get you in that right direction. Okay. So you're just beginning. Nothing wrong with that. Like the things that we don't know or the things that we experienced before doesn't define us. It's like the things that we're willing to do that are going to get us to close the gap between where we are today and where we want to be is what's going to define you. What are the actions needed? And from personal experience, what I can tell you is that most of the people, I know myself have done this. I underestimated how long it takes, what the efforts, what the money, what the time invested I need to put in to get to where I need to be. So, that's why being in these rooms, I feel like it gives you so much perspective on, finding out the things that you didn't even know. Sometimes we're like, I know that I don't know how to, you know, I don't know, do a conversion, whatever. Like, but I don't know, like when you are in these rooms and somebody mentions something that you were not even aware, you're like, oh, I didn't even know that I didn't know that. So now I know, and that's on my to-do list. Okay. And so anyway, it goes from 21 to 40, somewhere certain, where probably you want to be is 61 to 80. It's like you're getting a hold of the process. 81 to 100 is like, I got it. I don't need to be here. Bye bye, Chris and Maricela. Good to hear you. Okay, so or maybe you're staying here to help us help other people because and what I will tell you, and Chris, you're welcome to you know join. I know you're trying to fix the chat, but what I can tell you, the first time I wasn't like 100. Like the very first time that I saw this evaluation, I wasn't up there, but we had at least $3.5 million of acquisitions. I don't know, like maybe 8 or 9 purchases or closing. So like, oh yeah, I know where to find my deals, but I was transitioning. So I like was overconfident on the level of what I wanted to do. But I was grading myself on finding the single families or the multifamilies that I was acquiring at that time. But when it comes to looking for the deals that we are now acquiring, I was back to zero. But I didn't grade myself that in that way initially because I was, oh, like see some 65, some 60, 42, 71. That's awesome, you guys. But what I
There
find,
is a 25 and there is a
oh, I see.
0. Somebody said they know nothing, and
Oh, that's
I
awesome.
won't rat out any names, but it's not their forte, right? They're just getting started in real estate, so they were actually
Mm-hmm.
being very honest
Mm-hmm.
in the fact that they have little to no knowledge in this area. So we're happy to help
Mm-hmm.
you along the way, and I'm glad that you were able to make it into the room and meet with people,
Yeah.
and whoever invited you, stay in touch with them for sure. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
thank you. Thank you for those scores keep coming in. So that's amazing to see because what I can tell you is that I was general or and I think that we can relate. We were generous and because we were confused on where are our targets? What are we going after? We were grading ourselves with the ability to close a duplex or a fourplex. That's completely different to a multifamily or storage or larger component, and so because of that we were like kind of we're very generous with the points, but then the more that we learn the things that we needed to do is like, oh well, I guess I'm not there yet and I'm not there yet, so our numbers kept coming down and down, and I was like, wait, hold on, like what I need to identify is like what are the areas that I need to continuously be attentive to. And so sometimes the more that you discover the things that you don't know, the more that you're gonna see this number dropped, and it's not a bad thing. So it doesn't matter where you are today. I believe that we all have to continuously push ourselves to different rooms, to different, in this case, virtual rooms where we can learn from each other. One thing that I know Grant mentions continuously is like trillions of dollars in assets are being transferred. Like whether they are due for sale, they have gone full cycle, or they are distressed, or they're new build, but they're going to be transferred from one hand to another hand. So where are you placing yourselves to be the one that is receiving? And that's something that when you step out of the way, step out of the like narrow vision that we tend to have. Maybe you're busy with your business, with the we certainly met a lot of business owners, which congratulations on your success. But sometimes we get so focused on that thing and we fail to see the bigger picture. And this is something that today precisely we had that interaction with Grant on a 101, and we were so busy looking at now and like maybe from here to acquisition, and he steps back and he's like, wait, this is a $1 trillion, trillions of dollars are being transferred, so where are you and what are the things that are going to impact whether you get the deal or not, and how can you and your team negotiate and place yourselves in a position where you can acquire not only apartments or whatever asset you're buying in the real estate, but how can you opportunistically acquire it so that you can be in a position to make money. Nobody comes here to make money. I mean, nobody comes here to lose money. We all come to this, whether you have a career or your business, we're paying the bills, and that's awesome. That's a great feeling. We're here to go for more. We are here to continue to achieve more. And the other thing that we talked about it. So I think it came out in one of the conversations or the meetings that there's this um the I'm gonna tell you the story that way because I just knew the terminology, the divine discontent. The concept is that this very successful, well, first of all, he started packing, what do you call, bagging store groceries at the Walmart. He eventually become, and I wrote the name, and I don't want to go through the paper pages right now, but he became the COO for the owner of Walmart, Mr. Gosh, I don't want to go through the page, but anyway, he became like so successful, and then he developed this system to keep inventory and in all the Walmart stores, and then he like was so successful at that went from not only doing the inventory, but now he became like the right hand for Mr. Walmart, the owner of Walmart. So the owner said, well, you know what? Let's systematize this. Let's bring some technology. And he went and pick up the Microsoft creators. And so this person has been in so many and so many with so many successful, like super super successful Steve Jobs, and so he's the question that Grant asked him, among all of these people that are not only like doing so well, but like changing the world. What do you see? Is there any trend that you see, across all of them? And his words were, they are like always going after the next thing, always going after the next idea, and like there's no rest. And so he's like, that's like they have this divine discontent with their performance, even though they have achieved so much. And so he said, like, well, that's exactly what I have. I am always going for the next thing and looking for more, because then the more I have and the more I can impact. And I can relate to that. So my question was, how do you go from, like, you're gonna be criticized when you are always looking for more, or looking for the next deal or for the next dream. Even your wife or your spouse is going to criticize you. It's like, what when isn't enough? Like, don't we have enough doors? Do you have enough income already? Like, can we just settle and enjoy? Can we just, like, you're always going to have those, like, people that drags you, or that questions you, or that they're so comfortable in their own whatever reality that they because they can't do, they're gonna pull you back, including those that love you, whether it's because they don't agree with you, or because they feel like they need to protect you. But you're always gonna have that part of you. If you're going after big things, if you're going after, like, you're an overachiever, you're gonna be like, you're gonna get that kind of pull back, or maybe even the haters, like, well, let me see, you're growing too fast. Like, you hear all of that, and sometimes we don't register it. But there is this divine discontent that we talked about, and then to acknowledge that sometimes to get to the next level, we're gonna have to let go of some things. That was something that, I mean, it's not the first time that I hear it. And I know, Chris, you want to say something. Give me just 2 seconds. But like, acknowledging it, and then how can we fix it? What rooms do I need to be in? Who do I need to be talking to? Who I don't need to be talking to? Who can I share my dreams and my goals and my big numbers that I want to achieve? And who I just need to say, hey, pass the salt, would you? Chris, go ahead.
So
Yeah.
you're almost getting to that point, actually, of almost hitting my point, which was sometimes the people that are closest to you, when they start doing that, you start to believe them, right? Because it's around more often. It's somebody you trust. But the piece that Grant does talk about is you have to not just block them out to some extent, but you have to get around those other people to offset, that help to propel you forward, that they help to cheer you on. Like, these are the groups and the people and things like this where we can promote each other. Then yes, you're doing the right thing, and yes, this is the best thing for your family. Those other folks may not understand it all. Like the person who answered zero, they don't know any of it, but they're open to learn, they're open to see more. And oftentimes those people that are whispering in our ears the things to pull you down, they don't even want to hear it. They don't want to hear about how it can be successful. They're just afraid that you're going to turn successful, and they're trying to keep you grounded and close to them, and because they don't want to go on that journey, right? And so that's another piece that Grant's talked about before, is sometimes you have to leave people behind in order to move forward. In order to do this, you have to separate from your high school friends, your work friends, your even some family, if they're really holding you back from moving forward. Because real estate is a great way to get wealthy. It's not get rich quick, but it is a way to get wealthy over time, and having consistency, being able to find deals and being able to pull things. So don't be afraid to change those groups. Don't be afraid to hang out with different people. Switch to once a month or quarterly phone calls with family if they feel it feels like they're dragging you down every time. It's okay. And eventually they will either see, well, either way, they're probably going to see the change in you. Whether they approve or not is irrelevant. It's you. You only have to be better than you yesterday. That's it. So just continue to learn, continue to be around the groups that help you do that. I do want to hit a couple of other pieces here, because she hit the self-assessment piece, which is huge for understanding, and even for ourselves. Like, I didn't flip my book back to that page to see where I'm at, but I know that based on my own things, I'm probably around a 30. I usually do something between a 3 and a 5 for most of my scores, because even Grant says, "Oh, I'm only a 6." Right. And if he's saying he's only a 6, but again, it just comes down to where you're at in your piece. Maricela had a great little spot there of, well, if I grade myself on the duplexes and quads, I got this, like, not a problem. But when we turn around, because at the time that she first did it, that's where she was, right? Now, today, we look at her, we're like, yeah, we're not even close to 10s, not even close to an 8, right? So it's a matter of self-reflection and being honest with yourself. And then you have the opportunity to feel like, I can be coached, I can be educated, I can learn something new so that I can get better in that area. And now you know where your focus is, or where your focus can be. So that's the piece that was like, yes, it's that change in your mindset and not letting anybody switch it back around that will let you be successful in this business. So I'm glad that somebody said, so, oh, I was depressed when I saw I only got 50 points. It's okay. 50 points is great. It's a matter of self-reflection and where you see yourself at that particular moment. There was a question about how old is too old for an apartment building and what should we look out for? And I'll tell you, we were just around somebody who has a early 1900s building that they were discussing as looking at. Would I do that? No, because that's not our thing. So it's whatever you're comfortable with. And if you have the tools and or the ability to bring people who can help you remediate so that it's a safe and healthy space. The bigger, I guess the question is really, what do I look out for different properties that were built in different timeframes, right? So, and one of the easiest pieces to look at is to say, how old will this building be when I sell it? Is this something that people would look for today, right? If we were 5 years in the future, would they be looking for that property today? Many of us don't go for the 50s and 40s buildings, but they're all over the place, especially in the Northeast. And there's tons of them that were built in the 30s and 40s. And it's a possibility. You just have to have the right tools and connections to be able to get that done. Most folks find a good entry point in the 60s and 70s properties. What we see, and that is what we started out with, but what we see is there's a lot of sewer problems lately, sewer line problems, because the cast iron is degrading. Depending on where you're at in the country, it degrades at different levels and speed. So those are falling apart and collapsing from dirt, roots, water drainage, whatever it might be that's around it, causing some other shifting issues that cause problems for maintenance. You have to bring a plumber in, and the worst thing that can happen is it happens underneath the foundation. Now you have to dig through the foundation or dig under for a distance to be able to replace the problems. Also, electric is different from the 60s and 70s than now, and there's different pieces that you just have to look at. And then once you get over 10 to 15 years, depending on where you're at, you got to look at your roofs, right? But again, it's just a matter of having the partners or the resources available to help you accomplish those goals. people buy these things every day. People renovate from nothing. They'll build from nothing. They will convert a motel like that doesn't even meet the code for multifamily. So there's different ways to do it. You just have to figure out what is it that I want to go after. That's number one. Sell yourself on that asset class. To us, it's even more important. What is it that my investors want to invest in? Right? Would they rather go for a 2012, 2010, 1990s, 1980s? Do they understand the concept of the value add program that a 60s, 70s, and 80s property would require? And do they see the picture? Or can I paint the picture for them so that they understand that this is truly a great opportunity for us? And here's the reasons why, right? So that we're able to push and boost these assets to another level that people are willing to rent, they're willing to stay, and we're able to make a lot of money with the investors using the business plan that is developed.
Thank you,
Let's see.
Chris, for taking that question. I'm gonna get back to the shares right away because we want to go ahead and share about the deal that we show some of you. The next takeaway that I have, and Chris, feel free, obviously, to add or comment. So the first one was the assessment. The two is setting the targets. So many of you might have some success with other assets, and if that's your target, and if that's your venue, if that's your vehicle to get, to build wealth through real estate, then you just have to have goals. So whatever asset that you decide to invest in, then what is your next goal? Because then they're gonna pretty much back engineer your actions. So for example, if like when I first started investing in real estate, my goal was to buy one house or one, but that's why I told myself one house or one property every year. And so then I knew that if my purchase price was this much and I needed to put 20 to 30% down, then my savings needed to be this much. Okay, so now I have a target. Now I can go work like a maniac at the hospital and pull as many shifts as I needed to pull, because then I knew I was accumulating all that to put the down payment on the deal. Okay, so now that we invest in larger assets, our goal is to diversify our portfolio. If you know us, maybe you don't know us, but if you know us, you know that we invest in multifamily, self-storage facilities. We do mobile home parks. We have RV parks component. We also do notes, so we do lending, private money lending. So our target is to continue to fill our pipeline with all of those assets. Now, if you invested in multifamily probably like 3 years, well, let's say 5 years ago, you probably are cash flowing on those investments around the clock. And maybe you already had depreciation and maybe you already refinanced. But if you invested in multifamily in the past 3 years, you probably went in some deal that is not cash flowing for you. Um, why? Because the type of lending and the changes in the market, the projections that were not achieved, whatever reason. So I know that we have some deals like that, but because we have other assets in our portfolio that balance investment, we do have a cash flow in portfolio. So maybe for you is to decide first, like, okay, I need to decide what type of asset I'm going to invest. Am I going to do it by myself? Am I going to do it with partners? How many units do I want? What's the value of my portfolio assets under management, AUM? How much is that value that I need to project? So just to give you an example, or when we in 2021, um, when we started looking at bigger deals and like understanding how you can scale faster when you collaborate with others. We had 35 apartments, Chris and we didn't have any other investors, and we had was valued about $3.5 million. And then when we started learning how to strategically grow that portfolio, we reshape everything we were doing, and we restructure, and obviously our mindset also changed, and we were open to collaborate with other people. So by then we're like, okay, let's go doors, doors, doors. Number of doors is important. We went from 35 apartments or 35 doors to 1,200 apartments in 9 months, because that was our goal, to accumulate doors so that we can be better view when we talk to brokers. Now we have a biography or bio or a resume to talk about. And so that was our goal the first year. The second year was like, okay, now we're seeing a lot of other assets. Can we understand? Can we put our money to understand what other assets are out there and how are they performing? So in 2022 and in 2023, we bought a lot of assets as a joint venture. And that's another question that you need to ask yourself. Am I investing by myself? So am I going solo? Am I going with a partnership, maybe with your spouse or your business partner? Am I going in a joint venture? Joint venture is usually less than five um, partners, that you find a deal that you alone probably don't want to do it or can't do it, and or you don't have the expertise to do it, and you pull two or three partners. We don't do more than five partners, and like maybe really three or two on a joint venture. That means that both of the all of the partners are going to be actively participating and working, not only and acquiring the deal, but also funding the deal. And so the splits are, they're different every time, but that means that everybody is actively participating. And then you have the group buying, the syndication. So that means that a group of core sponsors are going to do all the work, take all the risk initially, and then invite investors that invest with us, with you, passively. So that's a GP-LP structure, is also known as a syndication. So you need to decide, where am I, how am I doing this? And at that point in 2021, 2022, we started seeing that we wanted to go into other assets, because we were already had a 1,200 apartments, or 1,200 apartments, and so we wanted to explore other assets. So we started doing joint ventures with the multifamily and storage facilities. And after seeing the returns with those assets, we're like, oh my gosh, yes, we love the depreciation from the apartments, but we also love the cash flow from the from the storage and the mobile home parks. And definitely being a lender, we didn't take a lot of depreciation, but we were cash flowing every month. We still have notes if they have been paying us for 4+ years. Every month they pay, they pay, they pay. So we decided we wanted to keep that, all those components of building wealth. We wanted the appreciation, we wanted the depreciation, we wanted the cash flow, and we wanted to have the diversity of investments. So that you, if you're not sure yet um assets you're going to be investing in, I will say just focus on one right now. And initially, focus and investing your money with sponsors that you trust, that they can help you navigate just the beginning. I know that everybody wants to do the deals, and that's totally fine. We highly encourage you to do your own deals. We have coach and mentor, but we're in 23 new partners. They've never done a deal, and all of a sudden they step in, take the responsibility, bring the resources, and become partners of us. So we advocate for that. But if you're just getting started, and being passive investor is that way to go. At least this is the way we did it. Anyway, so back to the takeaway. So doing your evaluation, like a true and honest evaluation, then it's going to highlight the areas where you need to bring either partners, or you need to bring associates, or you need to pay somebody to underwrite your deal. But that's going to give you a lot of visibility and clarity on what are the things that you need to bring to your team, to that you need, and then having the right targets. Okay. And then there's a couple more things that I know that he mentioned. He said, let's see, learning. Okay, this is one thing. This is what we continuously keep coming back to this type of events. Learning is a continuous drip. So if you're in the medical field, that's the way I associate it. It's a drip and not a one-time shot. Meaning that you cannot go to one event or read one book or listen to a podcast, and all of a sudden you just got all the therapeutic level that you need. learning has to be continuous. Think of a medication that you give, like, and again, I'm referring to my medical providers. It has a very short time, lifetime, like short duration. Okay, so that medication you're gonna have to give it very continuously if you want to have the same effect. If you there's other medications that you give and you have a long lasting effect, but that's not the case for learning. So the sooner that you realize that you need to have this continuous drip of learning, connecting, networking, being in the rooms, the more success that you're going to have, especially in this what do you call it, this business. Okay, some other business might be a one-time shot. I took the certification, maybe I got a license, and now I'm good forever. That's not the case for real estate. That was a very telling for me. And then this is another one. I am a constant failure. I'm like, oh my God, what is he gonna say? He said, when my targets are that are large enough. So that means the way I interpret this, I'm in constant failure when I'm not having big targets. And sometimes being comfortable kind of push you to have comfortable levels of goals or achievements that you want to, achieve, things that you want to achieve. So that to me tells me that if you're not dreaming big, if you're not putting these huge goals in front of you, you're probably going to be, I mean, sorry, if your goals are so huge and big that you're setting for yourself, you are probably going to be failing every single time. But guess what? Because you have these big targets and goals, even if you fail, let's say, okay, let's go back to when we transitioned, we said our goal is to have $250 million of assets under management in the next 10 years. This was in 2021. That was our goal. We bypassed that. Like I think right now we're over 300 million assets under management, and no, it's been like we achieved that probably at year 4. So again, when you have these big goals, I know that we didn't set up big goals. That tells me, and it's scary to think that way. So wait, my goals needs to be even bigger. Anyway, so that's what spoke to me. I don't know if you, Chris, or anyone else has anything to add or maybe like comment on it. I'm gonna read. I know you've been working on answering questions, so I'm gonna get caught up there, and then we can share about the deal if you're okay with that.
Because you were going through different pieces of the takeaways, I'm typing answers back in the chat for those specific questions that people have had. This normally we do have the takeaways, but we also look to answer questions along the way. And I saw that we were running long on the question side. Actually, if I scroll down for a second, let's see. Great computer learning is systematic. Okay. So somebody did mention about being able to pitch a deal to people. They just don't feel like they have all the information. And this became one of the takeaways, right? This is one of the pieces that's in the book is the vital indicators to analyze. It's on page 21 for those that were there. I did type this in there into the chat, but their specific question was, where am I confused? Where I am confused on how to reply to questions of what do I get in return and what's to offer them for the investment. And so I posed the question of, would it be helpful if we kind of role played that a little bit and we show them how to pitch a deal to investors or to potential people that you want to see partner with even. And so I thought that might be a value if you feel like there's enough time to be able to do something like that. You feel like you have enough time to be able to kind of run through a deal real quick and show people how do I pitch?
Oh, sure. Do you want to share the screen or do you want me to share the deal? Which one?
You have it. That way you have control of it, and I'll just keep answering questions here and let's see where we go.
All right, so I can do that.
We do. I was just going to say we do want to respect your time, so we don't want to go too far over the hour, but we'll at least get this out there so that you can see and get a feeling for how that works, right?
Is this where you're talking about, Chris?
I just figured it's the easiest one. It's the one we've been thinking of and talking about for a little bit here and there. So it's an easy one to have the discussion of the different factors, right? We talk about the NOI, the debt, the equity that's required, cash flow, what's the purchase price. These are all the pieces Grant had 13 items that you need to evaluate in order to
Yeah.
figure out does the deal make sense and can I move forward, or does the deal make sense so that I would want to
Yep.
invest. And even as an investor, a passive investor, you want to be able to look at these numbers and realize, does that make sense? Are they crazy? Like,
Right.
you want to be able to evaluate the deal slightly yourself too. So
Yep.
let's see if Maricelo's crazy. No, I'm just kidding.
Could be, could be. Let's go find out. So, guys, this is a property that we have under contract. And we're gonna be actually we're just finalizing the planning. We're gonna be having a full webinar about announcing this deal. So stay tuned. We're gonna be hosting that next Friday. So if you are invited here by one of the sponsors, just let them know and they will get you a link so that you can join us back. But I'm just gonna briefly touch over because we are not gonna have time to go do the underwriting and the presentation. So on the webinar. So I'm gonna run through this, okay? Right. Okay. So this is 104 units. And again, this is different views. The property's name here, Brookmore Hollow, and if you're familiar with the areas in Rosenberg, you're welcome to drive around. Just take a look around the neighborhood. It was built in 1983. It's again 104 units. It has a combination of one bedroom and two bedrooms, but it has five floor plans. We have this deal under contract at 10,250,000, and that brings the price per unit to $98,000, 558. So we really are buying these on under replacement value. To rebuild this property, it will be anywhere again, depending on how different you build it because of the code, but anywhere between 12 to $15 million. And that's just like the basic, not adding anything extra. So as you can see, we're clearly buying this property under the value of what it take to be built. And to just to share here a little bit on this space that you're looking at, the green space around it, there is some restrictions to build by the city. And if you're familiar with this area, I'll show you a map here in a bit. But this is outside of Houston. This is actually about 35 or so minutes away from where we purchased the last property at 34 units in Houston. We just finished that project. And so this, if you're heading out of Houston, like think about it, going out from downtown, you're gonna head out the highway and you're gonna pass. So that the the spaces that most people might be familiar is the Galleria, Katie, and then Sugarland. And so this property is about 10 minutes out from Sugarland. And if you know anything about Sugarland, there's a lot of restrictions to build. There's a lot of wealth there in that area, a lot of retirees that go there. And so there's a lot of commodities. So let me just keep going. This is not the pitch. I just wanted to get to the numbers, right? Let's get to the numbers. But before, let's go share why we love this property so much. It is already occupied. We don't have to build it. Like it's already steady, Eddie. It's already cash flowing. It has value add component. So it's not a drastic, huge lift from where it's existently the condition of the units. It's very, very well taken care of. The owner has owned this property for about 11 years, and the tenants love it. There's people that have been, we were, one of our partners was talking to one of the tenants, and they shared they've been there for over a decade, I think 14, 15 years. Put it in the chat if you're here. But definitely, like, the retention is huge. They love living in this property. And so that's what we like. It's clean management, again below the market rents, even though the rents are pretty steady, there's still room to increase on the rents monthly for each unit. And again, I told you we shared that we're buying this below the placement cost or value, and it is located right outside of the areas that we're seeing physically grow. Like we're not on the path of growth, we are in the middle of growth. The epicenter convention center is about 3/4 of the mile, like literally across the highway from this property. There's two hospitals that have about 180 and 186 beds. And if you know anything about medical, you know that for each bed, you're gonna need between 30 to 40, what do you call it, staff to support that operation. So there's a lot of growth. There's also two colleges, and one the Houston, I'm sorry, the um, medical center that brings students to do their rotations into the hospital. So there's a lot of growth, and it's being diversified with now all these other industries that are coming about. So that's what we are super excited. But this is what we want to show you. Let me remove ourselves so we're not looking at my faces here. Okay, so this is what Chris wanted to share. All right, and Chris, if you want me to cover or what you can cover, I don't mind. But what we're showing you here in the first column is the actual T12. That's what the rent. That's what the compiled numbers or financial reports. It's from 12 months. Okay, then the second part here that is what we analyze with. You want me to keep going, Chris? Yeah, okay. So we are underwriting because I just told you it's 104. It's actually 105 units. One unit is a model, and one unit is being used as an office and gym. So we are not counting those because they're not capitalizing on them. So we're underwriting with 103 units. The actual rent in place is 1113 average. If you multiply that number, those two numbers, all of this, you can do this in in your calculator and follow along, times 12 to make it annual number to annualize it. And then other income. So other income, they're reporting 13%. And then occupancy, they're reporting 93%. Again, this is what we see in on their financials. Okay. So here's the actual income. We are underwriting, they're reporting 48% of expenses. So you minus those expenses from the actual income, and that leaves you with the NOI. Then the NOI, once the NOI is what's left, right? What's the after you recover all your rents and pay out all of your expenses. That's what you have left. So that's 751,000. If you divide that by the 7.3, which is the cap rate in place, the the offering price that we could offer is 10,298,000 in this property. Okay, this is what we see, and but we're gonna show you what we underwrote as. So again, 103 units, actual rent 1113 times 12 months, plus we only gave them credit for 7% of other income because we want to make sure that what if those other income is dependent on things that the company has in place. Like we're scraping a little bit from that potentially earned income, so we are bringing that to 7%. Okay. And occupancy, we're underwriting with 90%. Again, because we don't ever anticipate or we don't ever claim that we're going to manage this deal better than the current owner. We just know that there's going to be some changes and you might lose some of the residents. Okay, so we are going to bring that occupancy to 90%. If you're following with your calculator, you should be getting 1,324 on actual income. So you're going to take the expenses. On the expenses, what we did is we went up because we know that Texas taxes are assessed every year. And we also know that there's other expenses that might go up. So we're giving ourselves some shelter here. We are analyzing it with 52% expense ratio assumption. Okay, that leaves us with a $632,000. And if you were to divide this by the cap rate that we are underwriting and putting this property under contract at, is a 6.2. Okay, so if you divide it by 6.2, now that gives us the number that we have it under contract. We have it under contract at $10,250,000. And what we wanted to show you is that we are adjusting the numbers that just because, again, these numbers, the first column, are numbers that have been achieved, average for the last 12 months. Okay, but even then, we still want to, I see a hand up. But we still we're still adjusting everything so that we can show that this number, this deal, the amount of the price that we offer, it is still within range, and a 6.2 cap rate property in this market is we're seeing people paying 5.5. Obviously, this is outside of the main like downtown area, but as you can see, there's a lot of growth happening, and we are pretty much taking these numbers to be very conservative. But let me see what else we have here. So this is what the proposed value is. This is what we're gonna do. Let's suppose, obviously, we're gonna do a little more, and I'm not gonna go in detail today, but let's suppose that we increase the rent um, over the ownership, and or maybe even the first year. This is how soon can you achieve this? This should be the next question that you guys have. Okay, but let's suppose that we increase the rent by $50, average $50. Okay, times 92% occupancy, times the months, so 12 months, and we divided by the same cap rate that we purchased the property. So by doing that, and we have not talked about any capex, any rebranding, none of that. We are just simply taking ownership and increasing the rents as they are right now, that no unit with the unit condition, and continue the same operations. We could add $917,000 of value just by increasing the rents. Now, the property management company that we're going to be using, it's they have other assets in the area, and they're very confident that they can achieve 100 to 150. I'm not going crazy at 150, but even if we achieve this 100, that doubles your $917,000. Okay. Now, can we achieve this in the first year? I don't think so. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think so. Maybe we achieve 25 overall. Remember, this is an average. Maybe we go 50,000, I mean $50 increase on half of the units. That gives you that number. So this is a numbers game, and when you understand the numbers and how you can add value to your properties, you can take this same formula and apply it to anything that you're underwriting. But this is simple. So anyway, I think that's all I have. Oh, here's the I wanted to show you. I think this is a very busy map, so I'm just gonna skip it. But if you're familiar with Houston, um, I have one that had the names. The other thing that in this property, it's actually this is the way it's gonna look like. The other thing about this property is that we it's right across a middle school. Like this is one of the trainings that we receive early in our journey. If you want a steady property, something that is clean, a lot of regulations around it, like safety regulations, you probably want to buy something in the close to a school or close to a church. I maybe one of our partners, local partners here, can tell us how far is the closest church there, but I know that across the street there is a middle school. So anyway, let me see. I'm gonna catch up with questions and comments. So Chris, if you have anything that you're ready to share, go ahead.
Nice. So, as we mentioned, as she went through the information and the numbers, we hit several different pieces of the information. Like I said, there's a list of 13 things that, as a takeaway from the event, we know, and it's not a surprise to us because we've done this before. Those things don't change from event to event, unlike some of the other information that gets passed. But again, not everybody sees the same value out of those. But the couple of key pieces that she went over was the NOI, the debt expectations that we have. We're going to do 70 to 75% of the debt. We have an idea of where the interest rate will fall, right? Which helps us to also determine the DSCR. He mentioned that at the end of the event as well. We know what the cash flow looks like. She mentioned the fact that it's going to be 6-7%, somewhere in that area. And then, of course, we know the pricing, the amount of money that we're going to raise to be able to do everything that we want to do on this property. So that's your equity required. And let me see here. The other piece that we talked about was the total price. So she mentioned the fact that we're buying this for $10,250,000. I don't remember if she if she mentioned what our CapEx plan is or CapEx amount, but when you add those two numbers together plus your closing costs, you now have the total equity or the total price that you really paid for the deal, because you have to add that into your total value afterwards as you move forward. So more to come on that, because we are currently in the middle of due diligence. Some of our business plan is changing along the way on this, not in a bad way. It's mostly, I'll say mostly expected, but we do know that we need to have a conversation with the seller. It was an expectation that that may come up. It all depended on what we found. No surprises. Again, it was more or less what we were expecting or prepared for. And it will develop further conversations is really what I'll say to it at the moment. And then we also discussed the expenses. You need to know what the expenses are, not just what's reported on the sheet, but also you have to look at what are your expenses compared to what the seller's expenses are. Right. So we were in front of somebody today. They talked about the fact they're not taking a management fee for our property. Well, you're not going to go on that property and collect rents and all this stuff. No matter what size it is, you shouldn't be. And you have to be prepared for the seller or the buyer of when you sell it to also not be using property management. So we put those fees back into the expenses, add it back in, and now their expense ratio changes, right? So the NOI changes to a lower number, at which point you should be able to save on your purchase price. But it's knowing which expenses to drop in there that also helps to make the difference. And then I know Maricela did the value add calculations. You want to see where is it that you're going to add value? How much value will it add? Because that helps you to build out that pro forma or the expectations of what the cash flow looks like and the return on investment. So I think I hit probably about 10 of those in a fairly quick just recap of what she talked about. And if there's anything else that you wanted to pass, I think we're about 10 minutes after the hour, so I feel a little bad. I did answer some more questions, shared where I could with everybody else. As far as, let's see.
Again, there's a question here that we have the interest rate locked yet, and we're having a acquisition call. So acquisition that you get to see all of the process of acquiring this property, how we found it, on the road, what assumptions we're making, how we got back to negotiate, what are the results of the due diligence. All of that process is being shared. So if you're interested in joining us with that, in that aspect, this is a paid mentorship. So if you want to pay for that, we're also comping. So if you're one of our investors, or if you're looking to invest and you invest in this property, we are sending you an invite so that you can attend a complimentary pass. So let us know. We do have somebody ask if we can invest. So yes, we do. We can invest because we have the fund or fund that we use to diversify the asset acquisition that I mentioned earlier, and that fund then becomes the partner. So if you are ready to invest and you're like I'm in, please reach out to your sponsor and let us know. That way we can walk you through. The next call for this acquisition call is on Monday. It's a Monday 7 p.m. Central. If you can't make it for whatever reason, because I know some of you work different shifts, it's recorded and it's shared with you if you are if one of the participants. If you just want to pay for that, let me know. I think we still have that special at 3,000. It's a 3 months. So again, let me know. The Chris actually asked me what the Friday. So we are having the deal announcement where we go through a lot more in detail with this property. We present the team members, so we're excited to do that. You get to meet them all, and so if you are interested in this deal, definitely we'll send you the link and join us on Friday. I believe it's a 7 p.m. already locked, but we'll double check. What else we wanted to share with you? I think that's all I have. And again, if I forgot to answer any questions or we didn't get to them, and because we have a whole lot to continue to share, just put it in the chat, or just actually I'm gonna save the chat. Maybe I'll do it. Let me save the chat so I don't yeah, I got it. Save the
Yeah,
chat.
and our somebody asked about the Monday link, so that needs to go out to everybody, of course. And then somebody else asked about next Friday. What we'll say is the person that you know that invited you here tonight. They will send you a link to have you sign up so that they get indicated that hey they signed up, they had interest, and that way they know who to follow up with as well. Because you may not know Chris and Maricela, you might feel like you know us now after an hour of being on here, but we really would rather keep that relationship between you and the person that brought you here.
Yeah.
So we don't want to shift that, I guess I'll say. And on Friday next week, you'll get to see who all those folks are. So we look forward to that.
Yes. All right, guys. Thank you so much for allowing us to steal 13 minutes out of your next hour. And thank you for being here and staying here. And again, we're here for answer any questions or just send us your question by text. Or next meeting. What's today? I forgot. I lost track of
Oh,
the time. It's
third
today.
Thursday of the month. So it will be another month before we
Oh wow.
have this version. I know we have
Yeah.
others.
May
I was Go ahead.
second, so first week of first Saturday of the month, so May 2nd, we have our investor and partners meetings. So we'll definitely send you an invite. You are welcome to if you are considering becoming an investor. I love the hearts. Oh my gosh, you just made my day. And then definitely join us. And then the second Saturday of the month, we have Q&A. So again, we make ourselves available, and then yeah, we pick up the cadence. So if you're not yet in tune, we meet at least 3 times a month. So, and then any extra events, we'll invite you to. All of these are free to join, no expense whatsoever from you. We just want to continue to be in proximity and continue to learn and share. And that's all it is. So, thank you so much again for joining us. We appreciate you. God bless you and your family and all your business. Okay. Thanks. Bye. Thanks, Chris.